Hello, pretty geeks, and welcome to the 10th video of Vlogmas! Yay! La 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 la. So today we are going to make something new. We are going to make the second easiest fudge in the whole world. Not the absolute easiest, but the second easiest. So let's get started. So to start, you're going to need 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, and just using this one is what was cheap, but you can use really whatever kind you want. Just make sure it's sweetened condensed and not just condensed, because otherwise that's nasty. And then you'll need a bag and a half of chocolate chips. They can be dark chocolate, milk chocolate, whatever you want, and a big glass bowl. Make sure it's microwavable, so that's why I said glass. And or you could use a double boiler, really, but you don't need to. You can microwave it. Start off by putting some of the chocolate chips into the bowl. You're not going to start with the whole thing. Tiny hole doesn't work. There we go. So, no more than enough that makes about 2 layers across the bottom. And then we're going to pop it in the microwave into 30-second increments until it starts looking more liquidy. You really don't want to rush this part because it's not even smelly, the stench of burnt chocolate will permeate absolutely everything. So just take the little rubber scraper every now and again and toss it around. And if you like, especially if it's taking a little while, pour in a little bit, just a little bit of that sweetened condensed milk as you're going to kind of get the liquid part of it going. Okay? Now you can start adding some more chocolate once it gets to about this stage, because it's going to want to start becoming a solid piece again. And liquids are one of those things that get hotter faster in the microwave. So it's obviously still quite lumpy. You can definitely see that there are still chips in there. So we're going to take just a little bit of the sweetened condensed milk in here. And about a third of a bag of chips in. And you can really use any type of chips for this. Just keep in mind that some of them are going to have different melting points than others. I really like the way that milk chocolate turns out. Sometimes dark chocolate can be a little bit bitter, and you're going to want to make sure that you don't use completely unsweetened chocolate, because the condensed milk is not enough to sweeten the whole thing. So you're going to have a really, really rough time otherwise. So it's actually retaining enough heat that some of these are actually already starting to melt. And I'm just stirring with a rubber spatula, a rubber scraper, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to pour the rest in here. Smooth them out. So the bottom layer is starting to harden. Don't want that just yet. So we're going to pour this guy in till we have about half a can remaining. And it's going to become a little bit too tough for at least my little baby arms to stir it. So just kind of mush it together. I swear it'll look more appealing soon. And alternatively, you can make these in smaller batches, especially if you want to do like a layered fudge. You could do like the red velvet morsels, or you can
layer or swirl, like dark chocolate with milk chocolate. There's peanut butter chips. Really is up to you. Ugh. Oh no! Ugh. Alright. So since we're starting to harden, we're going to pop it back in the microwave, again in 30-second bursts. Now this last one only took 30 seconds to get this far. So either I have a microwave with superpowers now, or I'm not completely insane as far as it goes towards liquid contents. So you're going to take the rubber scraper and you're going to get as much of this stuff out as you can, because this is what's going to keep it from being, it's what's going to make it creamy rather than this weird dryish, dried out frosting texture that you see here. Because let me tell you, it don't taste like no frosting. And almost done, but it's just that little extra bit. Couldn't find my teeny tiny scraper. Alright, good enough. Alright, and it's going to want to harden real quick here. So fold and blend the rest of this in. I swear this is the last time. And then we're going to nuke it again. Shorten your increments though to about 15 seconds at a time, just so you don't end up with some nasty burnt mess. And make sure in between every time that you are microwaving that you are giving it a good stir or turn or flop, whatever it is that the texture wants to do at the time. Now, while it's going, we're going to get a container for your finished veggies to be in. This can be any pan really, or even little bowls, however you want to eat it, child, no judge. And make sure it's something non-stick, otherwise you're going to have to grease it down. Hello Molly, this ain't for you, child. With butter and a smidgen of powdered sugar. Alrighty, so we're going to work a little bit quickly now that it's done. It has gotten a lot darker and it's a little bit glossy. And we're just going to pour it into a bowl. And I'm just using a shallow pie plate. But one of my favorite ways to do it otherwise is in like a mini muffin tin. I think they make super duper cute little gifts. But I ain't gifting any of this. Alright, and if it starts getting kind of pilly like this, just put it in the plate, because it's going to leave a funny texture otherwise. And now, just smooth it out. If you do this on the stovetop, you can get it a lot more liquidy, probably a little bit quicker, but it's also a lot more likely that you can end up burning. And about as smooth as I'm gonna make it this time around. And that's it. Let it hang out and set for a little while. I usually let it cool on the counter for a little bit and then pop it into the fridge. And yeah. So if you're making it to take somewhere, you don't want it to get to room, I don't think that makes sense. You're going to want it to get to room temperature before popping it in the fridge, because you're going to put some foil on top of it. Otherwise you're going to get dried out little weird edges. and you're gonna do it until it's gonna be in the fridge until it's solid, and that's also where you are going to store it, just because it'll last a whole hell of a lot longer than if you leave it on the counter.
And it's all set now. And ta-da! Big beautiful plate of fudge. Okay, so I take back the setting time. This fridge is a lot colder than my last fridge. But store it in the fridge if you're not gonna eat it right away. I'm gonna eat it as soon as Mr. Jason's able to get a piece of. It's set really, really firm. So he's using his big old man muscles. Dun, 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 dun. So I hope that you enjoyed yourself today and you learned something and that you absolutely love all of your new fudge.